Transport, Alexis Afiares, and the EU Commissioner for Sustainable Transport and Tourism, Apostol Tizikostas. And we have also together with us Parliament's Rapporteur, Andrei Novakov, and Transport and Tourism Committee Vice Chair, Virginius Tsivigivigus. I think we will take first President of the Parliament, Mrs. Metsola.
Thank you very much, Delphine. Good evening to you all. Let me start by welcoming today's agreement that marks an extremely important step forward for the millions of Europeans who rely on air travel every day. I want to thank our rapporteur, Andrei Novakov, the Vice Chair of the Tran Committee, Virginius Tsivigivigus, the whole European Parliament negotiating team, most of them are here in this room, of course, Minister Vafiades, the Cypriot Presidency, and Commissioner Tizikostas for pushing this through and helping us reach a successful landing zone, if I can use that term, with apologies for it. So, Parliament has always been the strongest advocate for air passenger rights and Europe's competitiveness. You can see this reflected in the unanimity with which members voted across the entire political spectrum in favor of this agreement earlier today. We entered negotiations focused on a solution that is balanced and that benefits our consumers without creating unnecessary burdens for our industry. And today we have delivered exactly that. There were moments when we were wondering whether we would manage, but here we are. With this agreement, we are making it easier for passengers to enforce their rights and claim compensation. We secured stronger rights for families and people with disabilities. We ensured greater transparency, as flight prices displayed must now include the hand luggage from the outset. We safeguarded the 3-hour delay threshold for compensation with the same monetary amount. Overall, this agreement will strengthen the rights of passengers. It will provide more clarity and predictability for our airlines and keep, importantly, the sector competitive. It is a good deal for Europe, for our citizens, and for our airlines. It shows ultimately that when we work together, we can deliver practical solutions that make a truly tangible difference in people's lives. Thank you.
Thank you, President. Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President, Commissioner, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Today we reached a landmark agreement on the revision of the Air Passenger Rights Regulation, significant success for European passengers, the aviation sector, and of course the European Union as a whole. Cyprus Presidency is particularly proud to have led this process on behalf of the Council and have helped conclude one of the most complex legislative files of the past decade. Let me begin by thanking President Metsola, the European Parliament's negotiating team, Commissioner Tizikostas and his team, all Member States, our trio partners, and the Cyprus Presidency team for their commitment and hard work throughout this demanding process. Today's agreement is the result of a shared commitment, compromise, and genuine European cooperation. For 13 years after the Commission proposal, this file remained unresolved. Many thought agreement would be impossible. Yet today Europe has shown that even the most difficult negotiations can be concluded when institutions work together with a shared sense of purpose and political will. The modernized framework for air passenger rights that we reached an agreement on today will deliver certainty, fairness, and stronger protection for millions of European air passengers. This agreement involved negotiations at technical and political levels, several trilogues, conciliation committee meetings, and 3 successive council presidencies. The Cyprus presidency is proud to bring this process across the finish line through intensive engagement, constructive dialogue, and a strong commitment to finding balanced and workable solutions. After 13 years, passengers and airlines will finally have clearer, simpler, and more predictable rules in one single text and not in fragmented case-by-case court decisions. The Cyprus presidency made this file a top priority because we believe Europeans deserve results, not another year of deadlock. our objective was to strengthen passenger rights while ensuring that the rules remain practical, legally sound and sustainable for the aviation sector. We wanted a framework that protects passengers without undermining connectivity, competition or the resilience of Europe's air transport network. Today we have achieved that balance. Most importantly, this agreement delivers a tangible improvement for passengers while enhancing their understanding of the rules. It strengthens rights when flights are delayed, disrupted or cancelled. It improves assistance and information obligations. It introduces clearer and more user-friendly procedures for claiming compensation. The agreement also addresses practical issues that matter to citizens: accommodation during disruptions, transparency on hand baggage charges, clearer rules on the no-show policy and stopovers. These are matters that can affect the quality of millions of journeys every year. This is about making passenger rights work better in real life. At the same time, it preserves a level playing field within the internal market, safeguards connectivity across the Union, which is so important, especially for islands and remote regions, and preserves the competitiveness of European air carriers in an increasingly challenging global environment. Today, we can confidently say that Europe has delivered. After 13 years of negotiations, we have reached an agreement that modernizes air passenger rights for a new era. Passengers will be better protected. Airlines will benefit from greater legal certainty, and Europe will remain connected, competitive and resilient. This agreement embodies the vision of the Cyprus presidency: an autonomous Europe open to the world, autonomous in protecting its citizens and shaping its future, open through connectivity, mobility and opportunity. Today, Europe has delivered on both. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Commissioner.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a really good day for passengers. It's a good day for consumer confidence and a good day for the entire travel industry. It is also a reminder of the value of the European way of doing things, working together, listening to one another's concerns, and finding common ground and solutions through dialogue. Yes, reaching an agreement on this reform has taken longer than any of us would have wished. And yes, I would have liked to have gone even further. But what matters is that we got here. Today, we have delivered the first overall of EU air passenger rights in more than 2 decades. And I'm proud to say that we have achieved the right balance. EU air passenger rights have improved and will remain the strongest in the world. And this is good news for our citizens who will continue to benefit from robust protection when flights are cancelled or delayed. It is good news for our airlines because the compromise we have reached ensures greater predictability and legal certainty, helping them operate more efficiently, strengthening their competitiveness. And it is good news for the authorities responsible for enforcing passenger rights as well. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just highlight a few key elements of this agreement. First, the reform preserves what citizens know and value most. If a flight is delayed for more than 3 hours, passengers remain entitled to compensation. The compensation amounts also remain unchanged. At the same time, streamlined claims procedures with clear deadlines for the passengers, but also for the airlines, will make it easier for passengers to access the compensation they are entitled to on time, while enabling airlines to process passenger requests more effectively. Second, there is more clarity as to when airlines do not have to pay compensation, as they can invoke extraordinary circumstances, providing greater clarity and predictability for both passengers and airlines. Third, The agreement makes it easier for travelers to compare airfares and introduces greater transparency on hand luggage pricing. Tickets will have one price with luggage and one price without. Fourth, no-show policy for return flights is banned once for all. Passengers that do not take the departure flight will still be able to take the return flight, and this without any additional fees. Fifth, airlines have to allow parents to sit next to their children without charging an additional fee, as it is the case today. Sixth, passengers cannot be forced to stay in an aircraft in case of a delay before the departure. Very important. And finally, I would particularly want to highlight the improved protection for passengers with reduced mobility or with disabilities. This is a balanced and forward-looking outcome that protects passengers while ensuring airlines can operate within a fair, practical, and a sustainable way. Having competitive European airlines is vital for us and for the EU economy. Consumer trust is one of the greatest tools we have to boost the competitiveness of our airlines globally. And to improve competitiveness further still, I will present an aviation strategy this autumn. Prior to that, I will host a structured dialogue with the aviation sector. We will look at all the challenges and all the solutions together. Ladies and gentlemen, it has indeed taken time until we reach this point. And I would like to thank everyone who has helped make this agreement possible. Specifically on this last mile, I would like to express my sincere appreciation for her hard work and for her negotiating skills to the European Parliament President Roberta Metsola, to the Rapporteur Andrei Novakov, to the Vice Chair of the Trunk Committee Virgilius Sintervicius, and to all the shadow rapporteurs, and of course to all the members of the European Parliament, because as you know, this decision today is unanimous. And of course, to my good friend, Minister of Finance, and the Cypriot Council Presidency, for their efforts to reach this point today. Thank you for your commitment to this file and for your constructive approach. It is very important for the Commission to note that we now have this conclusion after 13 years. Your efforts have been instrumental in bringing this agreement across the finish line. I now look forward to seeing this reform become EU law for the benefit of passengers, airlines, and Europe's aviation sector as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Before we take questions from the floor and online, we still have a few words from our EU lead negotiators, Rapporteur Novakov and Vice Chair Sinkevičius. Rapporteur.
I believe tonight's achievement will go down in history and the textbooks of law schools across Europe. I'm satisfied with what we achieved, and I would like to express my gratitude to the leadership of Madam Metsola, because without her we wouldn't achieve it. To Commissioner Tzitzikostas, who is a great facilitator of that deal, and for Cypriot Presidency of their cooperation and partnership spirit that they created. Of course, the genius is the one that helps a lot to the whole process to get the final deal. I'm especially proud of the fact that no one else anymore will ask a fee for parents to sit right next to their child from 0 to 14 years old. I would like to underline 14 years old because I insisted on 14 years. After 14 years, I believe the children will pay not to sit to their parents. I'm especially proud on the fact that price transparency is now in place when it comes to hand luggage. You know what you're paying for. And especially the fact that the responsibility of explaining how to get your compensation now is to the airlines. So no passenger anymore will look at countless web pages, send emails, look for help, or paying the agency to get what it belongs to him or her. Now we put that responsibility to the airlines. Finally, yes, it took us 13 years to reach that agreement. But this regulation will remain for the next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Mr. Sinkiewicz.
Yes, thank you very much. Dear Madam President, dear Commissioner, dear Minister, dear Andre, dear colleagues. I think the deal has been presented perfectly well, and let me use this short moment to celebrate a true European. First of all, Parliament's position. I truly thank all and each group in the Parliament that they stayed united through this process. And it gives a true hope, Madam President, that under your leadership, we can actually fight for our citizens' right all together, that we can have a united position. Cyprus presidency. Cyprus, not the largest EU economy, but they showed a true leadership, unblocking this deal and getting it through the finish line. And that's a true European moment, where it doesn't matter, small or large nation, everyone has the same thing to take. Everyone can take a leadership. And this was the Cyprus moment, and we truly thank it. And citizens for many, many years will know this is a European moment. Commissioner, thank you very much for your support, for your leadership. That was instrumental to celebrate this deal. This is a day when we truly celebrate what Europe is. Europe protects its citizens, and most importantly, Europe